Hey, what's up everyone? This is Greg, sports rehab expert, on-track physiotherapy, coming at you with a tip for lateral shuffle progressions and lateral movement change of direction. So one of the things that we want to focus on is actually getting someone to learn how to shuffle, change heights when they shuffle, and then push the line away from them. So something you may hear coaches talk a lot about is, stay low as you shuffle, or play low in the tunnel as you're shuffling. You hear this common in basketball, but any sport that involves lateral movement or change of direction, the athlete needs to learn how to change levels, drop their hips, sink down, and then push the ground away from them and cover ground. So there's two drills that I like to utilize to teach an athlete how to do this, and we try to break it down a little bit for them. One of the first ones that we do involves just one single lateral shuffle and cover as much ground as you possibly can with that. So what you'll see the athlete doing as they push the ground away from them is they need to learn to sink their hips, push, cover as much ground as they can, and we just perform this to one side, and then we'll do that for so many reps, and then we'll perform it to the other side as well. Now as you see me demonstrating this, a couple things you'll notice is, number one, the arm action. The arm action is very important. It's similar to acceleration coming out of a sprint start. Is that arm action is very necessary to apply force into the ground. Now it's different than a sprint start. When you're running, obviously you're going more forward with your hand movement. When you're going with lateral movement, now you're applying force out wide. So you need to think about spreading your arms apart, and spreading your arms apart, both arms together. You'll notice in the video that I do a pretty good job with my left leg because that's the leg I'm pushing off of. But the more we can get that action occurring with both legs, the better, more ground you're going to be able to cover, because you're going to be able to apply more force into the ground, in particular me when I'm going left to right here. The other thing it'll do is it'll help me kind of spread the floor, spread my feet, and when I'm going left to right, I'm using that left leg to push, cover as much ground as I can, and I'm using that right leg to pull and bring myself back and reposition my feet, getting ready for the next shuffle. So we're teaching that with one-off shuffles right from the start here. Now the other thing that this is doing is it's teaching someone to decelerate a little bit too, is because we're just doing one movement, they got to stop the movement too. So it teaches them to decelerate the movement quickly, change their shin angle to stop the movement. So when you're pushing and you're going left to the right, your shin and torso should be going left to right as well. Now when you're stopping the movement, obviously you got to stop that force, so your shin and torso are facing in the opposite direction in order to stop the movement. You don't want your shins facing one way and your torso facing the opposite way. That's when injuries potentially could start to happen, because you're in a bad position to absorb force. So we're also teaching force absorption at that point in time. Once the athlete gets used to that, they can quickly apply a decent amount of force into the ground, cover ground, absorb the force, then restart, repeat, and they can do that competently both directions, and they sink their hips as they're doing it too in order to get an actual good push off with that leg. We want to try to progress that and do through a few different cycles, because a lot of times you're not just doing one shuffle. You need to kind of string together multiple ones when you're in an athletic situation. So the next step in the next progression is to sequence 3 of them together and perform 3 shuffles and cover as much ground as you potentially can in 3 shuffles. We'll do this left and right, and the only thing we're trying to do here is start sequencing things a little bit better. So still same arm action, because we got to apply force to cover ground. 2, we're pushing with that left leg, in this case going left to right, covering as much ground as we can. You're using that right leg to help pull yourself back, recover, reset the feet, and keep pushing in that direction that you're heading. So hope this tip was helpful. If you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because we're going to have more tips coming your way. Everybody have a good one.